Um, this is a response to a comment that I got from the Real Bread. This is a very serious video for me, so I want everybody to understand I'm being serious. This is my son Dominic. Say hi, Dominic. Hey. I just I wanted him to be a part of this video because I love him very much and he loves me. Don't you love me? Yeah. Yeah, we have a really good relationship. He likes sports. Of course, I don't. I'm not. Never been much of a sports person, but he knows that I love him, and he knows that I'm proud of him, and he respects me, and he loves me. And he's not a video blogger person, so he's gonna go now. But he agreed to come and stand on the camera with me just for a few minutes. The reason why I asked him to do that because I wanted to respond to the comment that the Real Bread made. And the Real Bread, if you're watching this, let me just say, the only reason why I'm putting this subject out in the open is because you mentioned it, so I'm assuming that you don't feel any shame behind it, which you have no reason to feel any shame behind it. And I'm not lecturing you, and I'm not counseling you. I'm just saying I want to be clear that this is not sarcasm. I want to be clear that this is not a joke. I am being very serious. Okay. Um, the comment that I wrote was he wrote, "So God's real, and He's communicating in such a way to appear invisible. Why should I worship this?" My reply was the same way you have love and reverence for your mother and father. To say God is real and not reverence Him is the same is as to say to your parents, my parents gave me life, but I owe them nothing in return. Not love, not respect, not honor, not for my care, and not for my being. Well, his response to that was, I have no love or reverence for my mother or my father. My father beat me, and my mother beat me, and my father beat her. Um, I want to say sincerely, first of all, and I don't know you, but I'm sorry that you had that kind of a childhood because honestly, with that, you missed out on one of the greatest joys that this life has to offer. And that's just a simple point of fact. I'm not being God. I'm trying to say this in a sensitive way. Seriously. I mean, having a childhood with loving parents that loved each other and that loved you, or even parents that didn't love each other, but loved and cared for you, um, uh, is one of the greatest joys of this life. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. Had your parents loved you, um, and showed you love that you could understand, and maybe they thought they were showing you love. Maybe I don't know. I don't know the situation. Maybe they thought they were showing you love. Maybe they were loving you to the degree that they could. Maybe they had issues of their own that they were trying to work out. I don't know. It's not my place to know. But what is my place to tell you is that maybe had the situation been differently, then you would feel differently about your parents. I love my mother. I love my father. I've been on my own since I was 15. My mother and I have had a wonderful, wonderful relationship. My father and I never had much of a relationship, but he loved me to the degree that he could. Fortunately for me, when he passed away and my mother remarried when she did, the gentleman that she married became my father, and he was a father to me and everything that entails. So, you missed one of the greatest joys of life, my friend, and I gotta tell you that. And if you hadn't, then you probably no, not probably. That's the wrong word. If you hadn't, you would feel differently about loving and respecting and honoring and reverencing your parents. This is one of the things that the Bible does teach us. It teaches us that parents are not to provoke their children to wrath, and it teaches us that children will honor their parents if they don't. So you're obviously this was one of the this was a rule in the scriptures that was ruptured by your parents. They provoked you to wrath, and in turn, you feel you owe them nothing. So that goes without saying. Again, it's biblical. So I apologize for your pain, even though I had no responsibility. I am sorry for you that you didn't experience that joy. You also said what you're saying is because I made a meatloaf that meatloaf should do whatever I want. No, that's not what I'm saying. First of all, meatloaf is an inanimate object. Um, I'm not saying meatloaf should do whatever you want. You also said I don't require my kids to worship me. She loves me. She owes me nothing for having created her because I created her for my own selfish reasons. Again, you miss one of the greatest joys of life to create, to have a child that you brought into this world out of love, and to love that child and nourish him and watch him grow and or her grow. And I have 7 children into, and yes, I've cared for them all, and they all have lived at home until they were old enough to care for themselves. So don't get the idea that they're just children scattered all around the place. No, they're children from my home, this home. Um, that my children love me and they honor me and they respect me because I brought them up with love and honor and reverence and respect. So, um, again, like I said, you miss out on one of the greatest joys of life. So, no, I'm not saying a meatloaf should do whatever you want, but I'm saying my child loves me enough to do what I tell him. And has he ever been disobedient? Yes. Did I stomp him and say, "Get out of here, you're no good"? Of course not. I gave him another chance. And that's what God does to us, does for us every day. Every day, we mess up. He doesn't stomp us and say, "Get out of here, I hate you." He says, "Hey, I still love you. Come back and let's do it over so we can get it right." Taught my youngest son. I'm gonna post a video when I get an opportunity. Taught my youngest son how to ride a bike, my baby boy, and he fell and he fell and he fell and he fell and he fell. But I didn't throw him away and I didn't throw his bicycle away. I kept picking him up. I kept picking him up and pushing him, and I must have lost 3 pounds running behind that bicycle, and I hated every minute of it. But the feeling that I got when he looked at me and said, "Dad, thanks to you, I can do it on my own now." It was the greatest joy, one of the greatest joys of my life. So, um, they respect me, they honor me, they listen to me because they know I know what's best for them. So, I listen to God, I respect Him, I honor Him, and I love Him. And I do what He says because I know He knows what's best for me. So Real Bread, think on that. Of course, if you want to email me, feel free. Uh, um, Will 5187 at bellsouth.net. You know, if you want to post something, go ahead. And I'm sorry if I offended you. It wasn't my intention. Get back to me.